On a warm, 75 degrees Celsius spring evening, June 2nd, 2025, the Jenna Miles Live Studio in Los Angeles buzzes with a vibrant, electric energy, a pulse that seems to echo the heartbeat of the city itself. The iconic Hollywood sign, perched 5 miles away, glows softly through the expansive studio window, its white letters a beacon against the twilight sky, whispering dreams of stardom and stories yet to be told. Inside, the set is a dazzling blend of modern American flair, red, white, and blue stage lights cast a patriotic glow, a subtle nod to the nation's pride, bathing the space in a warmth that feels both grand and intimate. The air, cooled to a comfortable 68 degrees, hums with anticipation, as if the walls themselves know something extraordinary is about to unfold. Outside, the familiar rumble of traffic rolls along the 405 freeway, a classic slice of the U.S., where cars stretch for miles, horns punctuating the evening like a soundtrack to the city's relentless ambition. Food trucks line the nearby streets, their grills sizzling with the scent of burgers, tacos, and fries. A quintessential American aroma wafting through the 75-degree breeze, mingling with the dreams of aspiring actors and the hustle of crew members darting between sound stages. The studio, nestled in the heart of this sprawling, star-studded metropolis, feels alive, its polished floors reflecting the bright beams, its 500-seat audience buzzing with excitement, their chatter a low roar of expectation. Overhead, a massive screen flashes the Jenna Miles Live logo, bold and bright, a staple of American late-night television, watched by millions from New York's skyscrapers to Texas ranches, 3,000 miles apart. The stage is meticulously set, a sleek, glass-topped coffee table, 3 feet wide, gleams under the lights, flanked by 2 plush chairs, spaced 2 feet apart, each with a 12-ounce bottle of sparkling water, beads of condensation glistening like tiny stars. It's a scene as American as apple pie, a blend of glamour and grit, a stage built for revelations, for stories that capture the nation's heart. Jenna Miles, a sharp, beloved host, steps into the spotlight, her presence commanding yet warm, a favorite across the U for her wit and empathy. At 5 feet 6 inches, dressed in a tailored navy blazer and crisp white blouse, she exudes the confidence of a seasoned pro, her smile lighting up the 75-degree room as if to rival the Hollywood sign itself. Her dark hair catches the red, white, and blue beams, and her eyes sparkle with the promise of a night to remember. She raises a hand, silencing the crowd, and her voice, clear and bright, rings out. Ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of Hollywood, welcome Keanu Reeves. The audience of 500 erupts, a tidal wave of cheers and applause rolling through the studio, hands clapping, feet stomping, a sound that could be heard 10 blocks away in this city of dreams. Keanu, now 60, strides in with a grace that's uniquely his 6 feet tall, clad in his trademark black from head to toe, a leather jacket hugging his shoulders, jeans tailored to his frame, and boots scuffed from years of riding motorcycles down the Pacific Coast Highway. His hair, streaked with silver, falls just past his ears, and his quiet smile, shy yet present, tugs at the corners of his mouth as he waves, first to the crowd, then to Jenna. It's a gesture that feels personal, a quiet nod to America's love for its humble action hero, a man who's dodged bullets on screen and dodged the spotlight off it. The crowd roars louder, some standing, others whistling, their affection for Keanu a palpable force, a testament to why he's a national treasure, his kindness, his resilience, his unassuming charm, resonating from L.A. to small-town diners 2,000 miles away. He shakes Jenna's hand, her grip firm and warm, and they settle into their chairs, the table between them, a 3-foot bridge. the water bottles catching the light like tiny mirrors. Keanu leans back slightly, his posture relaxed yet deliberate, his dark eyes scanning the crowd. A mix of gratitude and introspection etched across his face. Lines carved by time and trials. A map of a life lived deeply. Jenna beams, striking the perfect tone for primetime television, her voice a melody of excitement and ease. Keanu, such a pleasure having you here, she says, her words carrying the warmth of a host who's welcomed legends to this stage, from comedians to Oscar winners, all under these patriotic lights. Keanu nods, his voice calm and low, a gentle rumble that soothed audiences for decades. Thank you, Jenna. The pleasure's mine, he replies, his hands folding in his lap, a faint smile playing on his lips. The kind that's made hearts skip from Seattle to Miami. The crowd settles, leaning in, phones tucked away, eyes locked on the man who's starred in blockbusters grossing billions, yet still rides a motorcycle through L.A.'s 80-degree-hours nights, a lone figure against the skyline. Jenna starts with the usual, her note cards 3 by 5 inches, crisp and white, fanned in her hand as she asks about his latest film. The action scenes that left stunt coordinators in awe. The behind-the-scenes tales of 16-hour shoots under 90 degrees of sun. Keanu answers, with his signature grace. Slightly introspective, his words measured but warm. Painting pictures of dusty sets and late-night laughs with the crew. The audience chuckles at a story of a flipped car, leans in as he describes a 20-foot leap, their reactions a dance of delight and wonder, a quintessentially American love for action and heart. It's all going as expected, a smooth ride down a familiar road. The studio's 68-degree for air, buzzing with the comfort of routine, the cameras rolling, the lights steady, the 500 fans hanging on every word. But then, the air shifts, a subtle change like a breeze dropping the temperature 5 degrees. Jenna flips one of her note cards, her smile turning curious, her eyes glinting with the instinct of a host who senses a moment brewing. And speaking of on-screen chemistry, we have to talk about a 1990s blockbuster, Speed, and your incredible duo with Sandra Bullock. What a pair, she says, her voice lilting, inviting. A soft laugh ripples through the crowd, a wave of nostalgia for the film that gripped America. Its bus racing through L.A. at 50 miles per hour, a cultural touchstone of the decade. But Keanu doesn't laugh. His smile fades, just slightly, and his gaze unfocuses, drifting somewhere beyond the 75-degree studio, beyond the red, white, and blue lights, to a memory buried deep. The crowd quiets, a hush falling like a blanket. 500 breaths held in unison. Jenna, seasoned and sharp, catches the shift, her brow furrowing faintly. Keanu. Are you okay? She asks gently, her voice dropping to a near whisper, the kind you'd hear in a quiet diner 10 miles from here. He takes a deep breath, adjusts in his chair, his 6-foot frame shifting, his eyes still distant, glassy with something unspoken. Yeah, it's just, he hesitates, a faint smile reappearing. But it's different, loaded with memory, with weight, a story 30 years in the making. The studio feels smaller now, the 3,000-mile span of America, watching through screens, waiting. Jenna leans in, her note card forgotten, the audience still, the cameras pausing as if they, too, sense the gravity. Something raw, real, and untold is about to unfold. A story to rival any script. A confession poised to echo from this stage to every living room, every heart across the nation. Keanu looks at Jenna, then the crowd, and says, I think maybe today's the day I tell a story I've never shared before. Never in public. The silence deepens, sacred and heavy, and the 75-degree air feels charged, ready to carry a truth that will leave Jenna Miles, the 500 fans, and America itself in awe. In 1994, Speed, a pulse-pounding action thriller, roared into American theaters, grossing over $350 million and captivating the nation from coast to coast. Set against the sun-soaked sprawl of Los Angeles, the film was a cultural juggernaut, a high-octane ride that had audiences gripping their seats in cineplexes from New York to Texas. Keanu Reeves, then a 29-year-old rising star, stepped into the role of Jack Traven, a gutsy a cop with a cool head and a steady hand, tasked with outsmarting a mad bomber. Opposite him was Sandra Bullock, a spirited actress from Texas, embodying the brave Annie Porter, a passenger thrust into chaos on a bomb-rigged bus, hurtling through the city at 50 miles per hour. Together, they raced against time, dodging traffic and defying danger. Their chemistry a spark that lit up screens nationwide. The film, shot across LA's bustling streets from downtown's 10-story skyscrapers to the 405 freeway, became a love letter to American grit and teamwork, blending heart-pounding action with a human connection that left fans cheering. Keanu and Sandra, as Jack and Annie, weren't just characters. They were a duo that embodied the 1990s American dream: courage under pressure, a touch of humor, and a bond that felt electric, drawing millions to theaters and cementing Speed as a classic, its legacy still alive 30 years later in 2025. By 1999, Keanu, then 34, faced a storm of heartbreak that tested his quiet strength, a chapter that deepened the nation's empathy for their humble hero. In a devastating blow, his daughter, Ava, was stillborn at 8 months, a loss that crushed his spirit, leaving him adrift in a sea of grief. Just 3 weeks later, tragedy struck again. His partner, Jennifer, perished in a car crash 2 miles from his Los Angeles home. The rain-slicked roads, a cruel twist on a stormy night, the wreckage a mere 10-minute drive from the Speed sets where he'd once thrived. The pain was private, raw, and overwhelming. Keanu, never one for the spotlight, retreated from Hollywood's glare. He sought solace alone, biking along the Pacific Coast Highway, the 60 mental pH winds whipping through his hair, masking tears from prying tabloids and paparazzi lenses. The ocean stretched 100 miles beside him, a vast, restless mirror to his turmoil. As he rode through 65-degree nights, his 6-foot frame hunched against the gusts. No headlines, no interviews. Keanu bore his sorrow in silence, a man wrestling with loss while under contract, showing up to sets with a heavy heart. This chapter, though hidden from fans, shaped him, a testament to resilience, a quality Americans admire, as he navigated a darkness few could imagine. His bike's roar, a quiet cry against the coastal chill. On the Speed, set in 1994, the 85-degree of July heat baked the sprawling Los Angeles lot, a sun-drenched stage where dust swirled and the air shimmered with intensity. A classic slice of a California summer. Crew members hustled, cameras rolled, and the hum of activity filled the space, 10 miles from the Pacific's cooling waves. During a rare break, Keanu Reeves, the 6-foot, dark-eyed star, leaned against a prop bus, sweat beading on his brow as the temperature pushed the crew to their limits. Sandra Bullock, the vibrant Texas-born actress, burst through the haze, her energy a beacon amid the chaos. With a playful grin, she tossed Keanu a 12-ounce Coke, ice-cold from a cooler, the can slick with condensation in the 85-degree glare. "Shade your brooding face, Mister," she teased, her voice cutting through the din, her laugh genuine, bright, like a burst of sunlight lighting up the dusty stage. Keanu caught the can, his quiet smile flickering, a rare crack in his calm. He watched as Sandra, standing 5 feet 5 inches, brushed off 2 pounds of sand from her jeans, her hands moving with a grace that belied the grime of the set. The moment was small, a 10-second pause amid 16-hour days, but it sparked something quiet, a warmth igniting in Keanu's chest. Her joy, unforced and radiant, danced in her eyes, and he noticed her quick glance back, a shared rhythm forming in the heat. The crew bustled 20 feet away, but for Keanu, the world shrank to her laugh, her hands, and that fleeting, unspoken connection, a seed planted on a sweltering a day. Mid-shoot, the stakes soared, and a high-stakes incident deepened their tie, etching a memory into the fabric of their bond. On a San Francisco bridge set, built 50 feet high to mimic the Golden Gate span, a stunt misfired in a heart-stopping flash. A 50-foot cable, meant to secure Sandra during a daring scene, snapped with a sickening crack, the sound echoing across the lot. Sandra, harnessed but helpless, dangled over a 30-foot drop, the concrete below a stark threat in the 80-degree air. The crew froze, panic rippling through, but Keanu, steady and strong, sprang into action, his 6-foot frame a pillar of resolve. Heart racing at 120 beats per minute, he gripped her harness, muscles straining as he pulled her up, inch by inch, to the platform's edge. Sandra's breath hitched, her eyes locking with his, wide with fear but steady with trust. In 15 seconds, he had her safe, their pulses pounding in sync, the 30-foot void below a fading nightmare. They never spoke of the fear, no words for the chaos, the near miss that could have ended her. Sweat soaked Keanu's black shirt. Sandra's hand lingered on his arm. A silent thank you. The rescue forged a bond, a secret sealed in the dust and danger. Stronger than any script, a tie only they knew, born in the heat of a crisis. Keanu Reeves, 6 feet of quiet resolve, stood on the bustling speed set in 1994, a man whose calm exterior hid a storm of feeling as a crush bloomed for Sandra Bullock. Then, 30, a single mom from Texas. The Los Angeles lot buzzed with crew, cameras, and the 85-degree of July heat. But Keanu's focus drifted to her, a magnetic pull he couldn't shake. Her joy was a force laughing at a crew member's bad joke about burnt coffee. Her eyes bright as the California sun, crinkling with delight that lit the dusty stage. It felt electric, a spark in the chaos of 16-hour shoots, her voice cutting through the din like a melody. Keanu, clad in his black jacket, watched her from 10 feet away, noting the way she tilted her head, the warmth in her grin, a lightness that danced against the grit of the set. His heart, steady at 70 beats per minute, quickened slightly, a silent admission of something deeper. He kept it hushed, a secret locked tight, fearing it'd derail their work, the stunts, the lines, the magic of speed that gripped America. More than that, he valued their friendship, a bond forged in shared rides and late-night talks. To speak would risk it all, a classic American dance of duty over desire. A choice Keanu wrestled with alone. Nights on his bike, racing 60 miles along the Pacific Coast Highway. He'd mull it, the 65-degree wind cooling his thoughts. But never his quiet longing. Admiration grew her ease, her spirit. Yet he stayed silent, protecting the trust they'd built. A man torn between heart and honor. Sandra Bullock, meanwhile, carried her own hidden heart, a mirror to Keanu's unspoken ache. Raising a son alone in a modest Texas-style life, 200 miles from La Glare, she bore scars of loss. Her brother, a Marine, gone in 2001, 7,000 miles away in a desert conflict. A wound that fueled her grit. At 5 feet 5 inches, she stood strong on set, her laughter a shield, her warmth a gift. But Keanu's kindness undid her. He's my rock, she thought, watching him steady a shaky prop table, his 6-foot frame a quiet pillar, his dark eyes soft with care. She adored his patience, the way he listened, really listened during a 20-minute break, their hands brushing as they split a 12-ounce water. Her pulse jumped, a secret she buried deep, her Texas roots demanding resolve. Sandra, a mom juggling diapers and scripts, couldn't risk their bond professional. Friendly, rare. She never guessed he felt the same, never saw the flicker in his gaze, 5 feet across the set. Her heart whispered, but her mind held firm. A lone star's strength, guarding their connection. They moved in sync rehearsals, laughs. A rhythm unspoiled by words yet apart, each hiding a truth. In quiet moments, 10 miles from the ocean, Sandra wondered, staring at stars, if he saw her, too. Both danced around it, a silent pact, 2 souls shielding something precious, bound by duty, fear, and a hope neither dared voice. After the crushing loss of Ava and Jennifer, Keanu Reeves unraveled, a man broken by grief's relentless weight, in 1999. At 34, the stillbirth of his daughter, Ava. At 8 months, shattered his heart. A silent agony that lingered like a shadow. Just 3 weeks later, his partner, Jennifer, was torn away in a car crash 2 miles from his Los Angeles home. The rain-soaked streets, a cruel stage for tragedy. Keanu, 6 feet of quiet strength. Crumbled days passed without words. Holed up in his the haven. The thermostat at 70 degrees, but the air cold with pain. A chill no heat could touch. Windows shut, curtains drawn. He sat in darkness. The hum of the city 5 miles away, a distant echo to his silence. Under contract, he dragged himself to sets. Lights, blazing at 90 degrees. Cameras rolling, crew bustling 20 feet around. Yet he felt nothing, a man adrift in Hollywood's glare. A ghost amid the chaos. Tabloids hunted, but Keanu hid from pity, dodging headlines, refusing calls. His phone silent for days. Nights found him on his bike, tearing down the Pacific Coast Highway. 60 mph winds whipping past. The ocean stretching 100 miles beside him, a vast mirror to his turmoil. Grief carved lines into his face, his dark eyes hollow, a 1,000-mile storm raging within. In this city of dreams, where stars shone bright, Keanu wrestled alone, a soul lost to sorrow, shielding his wounds from America's gaze, his resolve tested as never before. Sandra Bullock, unaware of the depth of his despair, emerged as a quiet savior, a beacon in Keanu's darkest hour. The Texas-born actress, 5 feet 5 inches of warmth and grit, sensed a shift in her speed co-star, though the details eluded her. In a tender act, she penned a handwritten note, her words simple yet profound. "Don't let silence steal your softness. Keanu. The world needs you." Mailed from her home 10 miles across It arrived at his doorstep. A 6-inch envelope carrying light into his gloom. Days later, fate intervened at a table read for a new film. 10 miles from his hideaway, Sandra spotted Keanu. His frame slumped, eyes distant. She crossed the 15-foot room, her heart steady, and wrapped him in a hug 5 seconds too long. Her arms, a gentle anchor in his storm. "Hey, I missed you," she said, her voice soft, her Texas drawl a warm breeze against the 70-degree affair. Keanu's breath caught, his pulse flickering, hope stirring in his 1,000-mile tempest. She didn't know of Ava, of Jennifer, yet her presence, her laugh from speed, her steady gaze recalled a version of him, unburied by loss. The 500-page script lay forgotten as they stood, her touch a quiet lifeline, no fix but a spark. In sprawl, Sandra's light pierced his dark, a gift unasked, rekindling softness, a reason to endure for a man adrift. On June 2, 2025, the Jenna Miles Live studio in Los Angeles hums with anticipation. The 75-degree near spring air charged as 500 fans lean forward in their seats. The red, white, and blue lights cast a patriotic glow. The Hollywood sign, 5 miles away, a silent witness to a night poised for history. Jenna Miles, the sharp, beloved host, holds her 3 by 5 inch note cards. Her smile warm, yet curious as she pivots from movie chatter. Keanu, that speed chemistry, with Sandra Bullock magic. Right, she asks, her voice lilting across the stage. Keanu Reeves, 6 feet tall, clad in black, pauses, his dark eyes distant, drifting beyond the 75-degree nerve studio's glow. The crowd stills, a sacred hush swallowing their whispers, the air thick with expectation. He adjusts in his chair, hands folded, and takes a slow breath, the weight of 30 years in his gaze. I've never said this. He starts, his voice low, steady. I had feelings for Sandra, real ones, but stayed quiet. The 500 fans freeze, hearts racing at 90 beats per minute. A collective gasp held in check, not gossip, but truth unfolding. Jenna's note card slips slightly. The cameras lock in, and the stage, 10 feet wide, feels smaller, intimate. As Keanu's confession, unscripted, raw, hangs in the air. A moment to echo across America's living rooms. Jenna, eyes wide, leans in, her intuition sharp, sensing a story beyond the script. Why now, Keanu? She probes gently, her voice a whisper against the 75-degree of stillness. Keanu nods, a faint smile tracing his lips, memory flickering. Years later, a producer, standing 3 feet away at a premiere, whispered, Sandra had a crush on you, too, he says, his tone soft, reflective. I saw her say at 2018 a press junket, sipping an 8-ounce coffee. Casual, like it was nothing. The crowd leans in, the revelation a spark in the quiet. She'd laughed, tossed it out, but it stuck with me. Keanu continues, eyes on the horizon of time. We'd both hit it, guarding something rare, a bond too precious to risk. Jenna's gaze softens, the 500 fans silent, picturing Sandra's Texas warmth, Keanu's quiet strength, two souls circling a truth for decades. The stage lights, bright at 100 watts, catch the lines on his face, a map of years, and the audience feels it, a shared secret. A piece of Speed's magic, unspoiled, now laid bare in 2025. After a 2025 charity gala under a 70-degree night sky, Keanu and Sandra found themselves at a quiet bar, 5 miles from the studio. Over 10-ounce beers, frosty in their hands. They talked, the city's hum a backdrop. I felt it, Sandra, Keanu said, his voice steady, eyes searching. She laughed, that bright, familiar sound, and replied, Keanu, you know I did. They smiled. Two souls 30 years wiser. The weight of youth lifted. Peace settled in. A bond unspoiled by risk, strong as the 50-mile drives of speed. The 75-degree Ralph studio now buzzed in memory, their truth a gift, and America watched, heart stirred, as Keanu shared a tale of quiet love. The Jenna Miles live broadcast on June 2, 2025, rippled far beyond the Los Angeles studio. Its 75-degree hours air and red, white, and blue lights a launchpad for a broader American impact. Keanu Reeves' raw confession about his bond with Sandra Bullock struck a chord, igniting a firestorm of connection across the nation. Post-show, fans from Chicago's windy streets, where 50-degree breezes swept through skyscrapers, to Miami's balmy 80-degree shores, where palm trees swayed, lit up X with fervor. Posts flooded in tweets of Keanu's heart moves us all and Sandra's light shines, spanning 2,000 miles of heartland. Inspired by Sandra's story, a single mom from Texas who'd lost her brother, a Marine. In 2001, fans rallied, raising $50,000 in 48 hours for a Marine fund in his honor. Donations poured in $5, $10, $50 at a time from baristas in Seattle, teachers in Dallas, and families in Ohio, a testament to America's giving spirit. Keanu, true to his quiet grace, matched it. A silent six-figure gift wired from his L. Base. No fanfare, just action. By dawn, $100,000 stood tall, a beacon of unity, proving one story could bridge a nation, coast to coast. From New York's bustling subways to Law's 405 freeway, 5 miles from the studio. People shared tales of unspoken love, their voices echoing Keanu's truth. Coffee shops buzzed 10 miles apart. Social feeds glowed, and a country, 3,000 miles wide, felt closer, moved by a 6-foot hero's heart and a Texas star's light. The modern tie-in cemented their story in 2025's digital pulse, blending tech and closure in true American style. After the taping, as the 75-degree for studio cooled, Sandra Bullock, 5 feet 5 inches of warmth, stood 10 feet from the studio door, the Hollywood sign glowing 5 miles away. She pulled out her phone, the 4G signal strong, and texted Keanu, her fingers swift. "Thanks for the memories, my hero." The message zipped through Zaire, a quiet nod to their speed days. 30 years passed. Keanu still in black, his 6-foot frame pausing by the exit. "Read it." A faint smile breaking. He typed back, "You're my light, Sandra." His words a bridge across time, sent in seconds, via the network. Fans, glued to screens, caught wind, and Keanu Sandra trended, rocketing across X and TikTok. 1 million posts in hours. Clips of Keanu's words, "I had feelings for Sandra," went viral, views hitting 5 million, a modern American wave of hope. From Chicago's 50-degree off chill to Miami's 80-degree off heat, users shared. "They teach us to feel," a diner 20 miles from L. Up buzzed with chatter. Phones glowed in hands, and the story lived anew. Keanu and Sandra, 10 feet apart that night, smiled at the buzz. Their bond unspoken then, celebrated now, uniting a nation in 2025, a digital embrace of heart, tech, and the timeless pull of human connection. The Jenna Miles Live studio in Los Angeles, bathed in a 75-degree spring glow, on June 2, 2025, pulses with a sacred energy, the red, white, and blue lights casting a patriotic sheen over the 500 fans, their hearts racing in unison. Keanu Reeves, 6 feet of quiet resolve, sits center stage, his black attire a stark contrast to the bright hope in his eyes, now wet with memory. The air, thick with the weight of his words, stills as he leans forward, hands folded, gazing out at the crowd. "Sandra, 30 years ago, was my 1 in a million light," he says. His voice low, trembling with truth. 5 seconds of her laugh saved me through 1,000 miles of pain after loss. After darkness, she reminded me to breathe. The crowd holds its breath, eyes glistening, as Keanu's gaze lifts, a beacon of raw feeling. "America. Feel. Be brave, don't let silence bury your heart." Backstage, 10 feet away, Sandra Bullock, 5 feet 5 inches of Texas warmth, nods, her eyes soft, their bond alive, unbroken by time. The 75-degree knife studio erupts, 500 claps thundering like a storm, a wave of emotion rolling from the stage to homes across the nation. Keanu's words, a lighthouse in the fog, lift every soul, a climax of courage and connection, a moment etched in the American spirit, proving one story can spark a fire of hope. Keanu leans back, his face lined with 30 years of wisdom, and continues, his voice steady, resonant. "In our 50-state land of dreamers," he says, "love isn't always a 100-degree web kiss under Hollywood lights. Sometimes it's a quiet gift, a hug to carry through the miles." The crowd, still, absorbs the weight. A truth dawning: some bonds don't stay, but heal us still. "Sandra showed me softness lives," Keanu adds. "Even when life carves you hollow, when 1,000 miles of grief weigh you down. She was my mirror, reflecting a me I'd lost kind, open, alive. A lesson blooms love need not last to matter. It can pass gently, leaving light. He pauses, eyes distant, then speaks. We learn resilience, America's heartbeat through loss. We rise, like cities rebuilt after storms. Sandra taught me timing bends, but purpose holds. We met not to be, but to become. Another truth unfurls growth is the gift of pain, a cornerstone of the Zu spirit, from pioneers crossing 3,000 miles to dreamers chasing stars in L. And gratitude, Keanu says, is our anchor. Thank the ones who show up, who lift you without asking. I carry Sandra, not with regret, but reverence. The 500 fans nod, a sacred hush falling, as this timeless wisdom, hope, purpose, endurance ties their story to a nation's soul, a legacy brighter than any script. Jenna Miles, her eyes misty, nods, her 5'6" frame poised with grace, feeling the room's pulse. She turns to the camera, her voice warm, urgent. Folks, across 3,000 miles of our coasts, from 50-degree Chicago winds to Miami's 80-degree shores, what's your silent story? Share on X, TikTok, Silent Bonds. Let Keanu and Sandra inspire you to speak, to feel, to live. Cheers echo, a roar shaking the 75-degree studio. A nation moved, better than before. And to you, America, Jenna adds. From the 405 freeway 5 miles away to every small town. Thank you, your love, your stories. Fuel this stage. You're the heart of this show. The dreamers who make moments like this real. The crowd claps, hands raised. A wave of gratitude back to the viewers. 3,000 miles wide, watching from diners, living rooms, and porches. One more thing, Jenna beams. Hit that subscribe button, join our Jenna Miles Live family on YouTube. Stay with us for more truths, more hearts like Keanu's. Click now. Be part of this journey. The screen behind her glows, a red subscribe icon flashing, a modern U.S. call, linking fans from Seattle to Florida in a digital embrace. Keanu smiles, a quiet glow, and speaks. I've learned more than I can say courage to feel, even when it's scary. A lesson from Sandra's laugh in 85-degree of heat. America, you've taught me, to your resilience, your kindness. Like fans here, 500 strong, lifting me tonight. His eyes shine, wet again. Silence can shield, but sharing heals. Speak your truth. Risk the leap, a gift from coast to coast. And time, it's cruel, but kind. It shapes us, shows us purpose, like Sandra did for me. He pauses, voice soft. Thank you, America, for listening, for feeling with me, from 10 miles out in L.A. to 3,000 miles away. You're my light. To your stories, your heart, keep me going. The crowd rises, a standing ovation, 500 hands clapping, a sound echoing 20 miles through L. Was night. Sandra, 10 feet backstage, wipes a tear, her nod a silent echo of thanks. Another lesson lands, connection endures, a thread through time, teaching us to honor the quiet gifts, hugs, notes, moments that mend us. And to you, Keanu adds, fans here, viewers beyond, thank you, your love, your wash, silent bonds, unite us, make us better. I'm grateful, always. Jenna chimes in, subscribe. Folks, join us. Share your voice, X, TikTok, YouTube, be our family, 3,000 miles strong. Cheers, soar, a nation stirred, lessons of bravery, gratitude, and purpose woven deep. A story of Keanu and Sandra lifting all, a legacy of light.